Hello, I'm Mr. E, and I love roguelikes. The challenge, the progression, the failures and successes, and of course, the randomness. Nothing beats a good roguelike. But finding the good ones is a challenge in itself, and that's where I come in. Welcome, traveler, to the Rogues Gallery. Hello everyone, Mr. E here, and this is Gunfire Reborn. Now, Gunfire Reborn is maybe something that you've heard of. It is a game that has been out for several years now, and it did get a good amount of publicity from YouTubers and stuff like that, whenever it came out. However, it's continued to be updated a lot in the background, so perhaps if you're a player who played it before and then put it on the back burner, didn't think you'd return to it, or if you're a player who saw the initial hype and just never really got into it, this is my call to you. It's time to play this game, because this is sincerely one of my favorite roguelikes of the past couple of years. It is a marriage of, I would say, Borderlands with a roguelike. And so if you're a Borderlands fan, if you're a roguelike fan, or if you are a furry, this might be the game for you. Because as you can see, all of the characters are these chibi-esque little animal creatures. And they're pretty adorable, but more importantly than how adorable they all have different powers. So whether you're feeling a close range build or a grenade build or a melee build or whatever suits your fancy, there is a character that can fit that archetype. And so each character has several different things they can sort of build towards. I want to just kind of explain a couple of them right here. I don't want to spend an overly long amount of time talking about the meta of the game. I want to spend most of this video showing you the gameplay, because this game is very cool once you've powered up. So this is the dog. I'll just be calling them by their animal name instead of their actual names, because this is a Chinese translated, I believe it's Chinese, translated game, and I have no idea how to pronounce half these things. So the dog, he has dual wielding as his ultimate or primary skill, just like the Gunzerker from Borderlands 2, and then his secondary, aka grenade skill, is his explosive grenade. Really simple, right? Compare that to the cat. The cat has a energy orb that he hurls out on his primary skill that hits enemies and freezes them in place. And you can also throw out your poison grenades, and these grenades produce a corrosive area that enemies standing in will be guaranteed affected by the elemental effect, and that means he's really, really good at spreading elemental effects between enemies, so he ends up being a bit of a master of the elements. And he stands in stark contrast to someone like the bird. The bird has the ability to leap into melee range, splashing down and damaging, probably killing all the enemies nearby, and instead of shields or health, he actually has armor, and that armor can only be replenished by leaping and connecting with enemies. His grenades are instead replaced by cleaving with his wings, just sweeping his wings around and hitting enemies in melee, and his skills allow him to focus on close range damage like shotguns. So if you check out, each character has their own set of talents, and these will show up randomly throughout the game. Whenever you complete a floor, you'll get a choice of 3, so sometimes you'll get exactly what you're looking for, and sometimes you will have to take something lesser. And so you've got a tree here in the middle that's all about close range damage and not shooting shots when you have just reloaded. This one is all about using his ultimate ability to jump into the fray and do a bunch of damage, and this one is all about his Q, or his grenade ability, cleaving with the wings. And so every character has a tree like that, and they have different things that they can lean on to exploit. Now, some of these are more powerful than others, some builds are more powerful than others, but I'll leave that for you to explore. I'm only going to explain a little bit more about the meta commentary about the game before I actually just go to showing you some gameplay clips of the game. The first thing I want to show you before we get into that is how you'll be progressing in this game. The first thing you'll probably end up progressing through is this talent tree, this talent web. As you can see, it doesn't matter what character you're on, all of them share these talents right here. So this is a great place to invest your first resources, which are these little, I think they're called soul essence down here. And after you've done that, you should invest into the hero skills. Getting these hero skills up for the heroes that you play as. It's pretty easy to get up, especially once you've reached late game. They're very easy to afford. As you can see, I'm floating a ton, but I do have 400 hours, so there is that. You'll also have to unlock lots of different weapons. There's a ton of weapons, as you can see in this game. There's 67 different weapons to find. These are randomized when they drop. Their stats and what blessings are on them, so it's very much like Borderlands in that regard. There's a number of spiritual blessings that you can unlock when you're playing the game mode. There's all these scrolls that you pick up during the games, and some of these have to be unlocked. There is just a ton of different variety that's going on in this game, and so it doesn't really make much sense for me to talk about it for much longer. Let's hop into a game and let me show you how Gunfire is played, both to start a round and what you're going to look like when you've been having a really good round and you're just destroying a run. Okay, so we're going to be playing as the Tiger. The Tiger is a sniper-focused character. He has lots of synergies for snipers, and he can also shoot chain lightning with his grenade skill, and his primary skill enhances his attacks so that the ranged attacks you fire arc lightning between the enemies. We are going to be using this seasonal skill. This is something that is going on for the season. There's actual seasons that rotate in this game that unlock different cool like ability synergies, and we're going to be playing on the highest difficulty. There are lots and lots of difficulties. There's normal, elite, nightmare, and reincarnation. Reincarnation goes levels 1 through 9, and you can also add an additional difficulty by playing on the multiplayer difficulty, even though you're a single player. Oh, and did I say multiplayer? Of course, this game is playable with up to 4 people, so you could get co-op friends in here, if you have friends that is, and they'll play with you. A lot of this game is better with co-op because there's some things that synergize together between classes, and it's pretty dang cool. There is also, before I hop into this, I should mention, there is also a like a horde mode where you're on one map and you defend against waves, and it's a different style of gameplay than this progressing through the map. So I'm just going to run through the first couple levels here and show you how you get your powers and how the game starts, and then we'll jump forward a bunch in time. A game takes about an hour usually to fully play it through, but you can pause part way and save your progress. And I'll show you how it goes. Once we get all the way to the end, I'll show you what the power looks like, how we've scaled up. Alright, I'm going to take this one right here. We're going to be focusing on killing enemies that are very distant. We're going to try to snipe this game, so we'll see. I think this is good. Okay, we're focusing on crit hits and headshots. Woodpecker is very nice for this. A sniper rifle, and we are going to invest in this. This is the seasonal person, so depending on when you get this game, this may no longer be the thing, but they add additional buffs to your character. So each stage is like a little mini dungeon you'll progress through, and most, if not all of them, will have a secret little wall that you can get through like this by breaking it open, and you should definitely be trying to find these whenever you can, because they have extra loot at the end of them. So skipping them is going to make you weaker. I do have to be playing a little bit carefully. Not that it looks like I'm playing too carefully here, but these enemies could kill me in just an attack or two because it's the highest difficulty. I forgot I need to be doing this from a distance so I can get more damage. Alright, so you see I got an extra scroll there, and those scrolls come out of chests and drop off enemies sometimes. Ah. Nice. So we cleared through this hall, and we'll grab this. No harm in grabbing a second weapon. And this is what you get at the end of each hall, a golden goblet. And the golden goblet allows you to ascend one of your skills. And so I am trying to focus on getting critical hits and getting long distance snipes. So this one, probably not super essential for me. This one is using the chain lightning, the grenade skill, so I don't really want that. But this one is going to give me a chain lightning every time I get a crit, which is definitely something that I get behind. Okay, so that's how you play through one level. This repeats a couple of times. I'll show you the loading screen right here.
You can see I'll go through 4 more stages like this, and then I'll face a boss, and there are 4 total stages. So that's all I'll show you for the start of this character right now. Let me pause here, and I'll cut back in a second through the miracle of editing. You'll see what this character looks like after I've gotten him to stage 4. Alright, so here I am in the very last stage before the final boss, and I've been powering my character up this whole time. It's taken me about an hour to get here, and my weapon is at plus 33. I'm trying to push it to over 40 by the end of the game, but this is very, very high. You have to have a particularly weapon-focused run to increase your weapon that well. But the reason I grabbed this weapon is because it has this ability right here. The bullet will automatically seek for a headshot, so I barely have to aim at all, and I can aim down the scope with this thing, which gives me a bunch of extra benefits. I get a lot of benefits to snipers specifically. So I've got really, really, really huge damage on the first shot that I do after activating my ability, and every time that I get a kill with that first shot, it restarts the ability, so you can see where that probably goes. And then I've got a ton of scrolls that all are amplifying the amount of damage that first shot deals, and the most important thing I have probably is this right here, which is a seasonal blessing that takes a lot of investment to get unlocked, but once you have it, it makes it so that the very first shot that you land on a target, it begins to eat their health away. And for me, that kills them instantly, the first shot, but then that damage splashes over to other nearby enemies. So you'll see here, as I snipe my way through this level, I'll hit an enemy, and then other enemies around will have this bolt of purple lightning that goes to them and just pretty much instantly kills them. And so that is just killing everything for me, because that first shot that I'm hitting them with is so strong. So I'll play through this level and give you a taste of what it could be like if you hit an endgame sniper build. And as you can see, I don't really have to aim because these are seeking for headshots for me. How's that guy not getting hit? Huh? What's going on there? These guys are annoying because there's one real one. I have to just randomly pick the right one. I think he died. Woof. Now you're dead. Very nice. And one final room here. A bunch of elites, shouldn't be too hard. My first shot just instantly kills the monkey. These guys are a nightmare a lot of times. Well, and that's how easy it is. Okay guys, well that's what an endgame sniper focused build looks like. Let me turn you over and show you what it looks like to play with a more ability focused class, a class that's really focused in on doing damage with their class abilities instead. Alright, so this is Nona. Her whole deal is that she has this robot called Iron Wing. There's a cute little chicken inside that actually pilots it. And you can play her a couple of different ways. You can play her with, I think she's skilled at pistols, but you can also play her when you're calling down the mech. It can be a melee robot if you transform it with middle mouse, and it gets on the aggressive, and you can call it down like this. Or you can play it as a turret form and call it down for resupply, but we are actually playing the turret form this time. So I've taken a couple of starting talents that are going to give my shoulder missile here, which is my grenade ability, some extra damage and recharges my uses, and that shoulder fired missile actually does the same damage as the shots from this thing here. So we'll be trying to boost our shoulder fired missile damage this game so that our little chicken turret can do extra damage as well. Let's see how we do in this first level, and then we'll skip forward in time, roughly 45 minutes, and I'll show you where I'm at. Get position so we can actually shoot. Looks pretty slow going now, but I promise you this picks up. Wow, look at that. 50% chance to get 1 extra recovery when the second, when I have less than 50. Wow. Nice, so I'm getting, that just gave me 60% extra secondary skill damage, which is exactly what I wanted. That's pretty crazy. Already huge boosts. This is one of the best classes for single player as well, because this thing can actually come and res you, which is amazing. Oh man, we're starting off with Iron Wing. Let me show you what this looks like really quickly before I skip forward in time. So check this out. Now when it has enemies in, those are all missiles, so it fires them really rapid fire like that. And this is just gonna get crazier and crazier from here. All right, let's pause right here and we'll jump forward and let me show you what this build looks like at the end of the game. Okay, so here we are at the end of a run with Nona, and she is focusing on this hardwood missile, which just does this. So as you can see, things have gotten a little bit carried away. Now my missiles can fire rapid fire, and just completely swarm the whole map. I have over 70 uses of this. It regenerates every millisecond. I just explodes everything in front of me. It really does. I love my robot machine. Alright everyone, so I am now playing the Firefox. I'm a couple rounds, or a couple rooms into this one, but she is a caster, primarily. You can see that I'm using her primary ability, which is this big ball of fire that she channels and then unleashes. I'm also playing with a very peculiar modifier that makes all of the scrolls that enemies drop and I find from chests into this random scroll giving thing. So I'm just gonna be kind of winging it this game. Who knows how it'll turn out, but I've gotten pretty good blessings so far, so I'm not too ready to give up yet. And she is very fragile in the early game as a caster, so I usually bring overconsumption, which is a blessing that gives you a nice head start in the early game but diminishes as you grow your power throughout the game. And I am just playing very carefully. I need to be killing enemies with my primary ability here, because the more enemies I kill with it, the faster it stacks up its damage, and we definitely want that damage sooner rather than later. Oh, we get some rolls down here. We also get rid of some trash that we don't really need, like this. Oh, this is huge. Scroll enhancer is really, really big. And then we can also do large ammo. I'm gonna get rid of that, because that's a one that can slow us down and make us have a bad time. And we don't care about weapon damage, but refreshing more is always good. Okay, so that was a pretty good exchange there, honestly. Yeah, this isn't that bad a modifier with the random scrolls. I mean, since we can exchange scrolls at the star lady, the owl there, she really helps us to sort of make certain that we have the scrolls we actually want in our inventory. Alright, I'm just going to take these guys out, and then we'll tackle that elite enemy. Holy shit, that fire trap. Maybe that guy behind me. There we go. That was a nice hit right there. I had to be careful, because I did get killed earlier, so I actually will permanently die if I die from this point, which isn't great. Alright, we're going to take that fire damage and we're going to go tackle this elite, and then we'll skip forward a bunch in time and see if this build has made it to endgame. Fingers crossed. Now, one thing I haven't explained yet is that the elemental synergies. So when you get elements on enemies, such as this one, I'm going to afflict him with corrosive. Corrosive has a synergy with fire that makes them explode for a percentage of the damage. So if I can get corrosive on these guys and then hit them with the fireball, they explode for extra big damage. This should just be the shield, yeah. I have to be really careful about these little bomber dudes creeping up on me, but we're good. We are playing with fire. We are on super low HP, and we have a relic that is degrading our HP constantly. Oh right, it's always this. I think I just got rid of this one because I didn't want it, and I got it again. Yeah, this is a really dangerous one to get because it lowers your movement speed. So no thank you. Alright, oh, we get the peddler too. This is big. Well, it's alright at least. And then we can make certain that we have fire on that by reloading. There we go. So now we're all set. Okay, let's skip forward from here, and I'll show you how this plays out in the end game. Alright, here we are on the last level with our caster Firefox. As you can see, we've empowered ourselves a little bit. Just a little bit. I think this one might be capable of one-shotting the boss. So let's get there and see if that's the case. That's always pretty fun. Cool. Boom, you're dead. Alright, well that's a good run. So what more is there to say about Gunfire that I haven't already said or haven't already shown? This game is just a blast. It is so intense. It's always satisfying to get some sort of synergy or cool thing going with your skills that just really makes you pop off. And the sound effects and the visual effects of everything like just exploding and erupting and dying is just amazing. I really think it's very similar to Risk of Rain 2, where just that satisfying effect of having all the effects of the items going off at once is the payoff that you're in there for. One thing that I would consider it superior to Risk of Rain on is that Risk of Rain, a lot of times, you know, since the items are mostly random, you can end up with your builds all feeling very samey, especially towards the mid to late game. Most builds are just revolving around the same sets of items, and in this game, there are certain scrolls, certain weapons, certain talents on classes that make the builds completely different than if you're using, you know, the opposite side, even on the same character. And having 12 different characters can really help to differentiate those playstyles. So, you know, I played this way more than the 3 runs that you saw me recording here, or I guess the 4th run that you're seeing right now. I just kept thinking, oh, I want to try this next. Oh, I want to try this next. And shooting for getting a run off the ground with that different skill. And it was just such a ton of fun to get back into this game for this review. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed seeing a little bit about Gunfire. Let me know down in the comments if you have an idea for a roguelike that maybe I haven't heard of or I should try out next. I have a couple more on my list that I purchased recently, but I'll try to get them in there as soon as possible. And as always, thanks for watching. Mr. E out. Bye.